Nice.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Doc T. We have Dr. Dionson right here, Dr. Westbrook right here, and a special guest with us today. We're not allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways because I'm a rebel. Dr. Nandi, and I'm not going to say his last name because I'll butcher it.
Oh, you just said it right.
No, we're not doing it again.
So if you want to say it correctly, the way I was raised to say it, it's Sundaram.
Sundaram. Nandi Sundaram.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yes.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah,
so
right. That's your name?
It's typically Nandi Sundaram.
I like it.
Yeah. So
and
whatever.
so why we can't call him doctor technically. I'll let him tell the story.
Because I do not have a DPT, I have an MPT. I was the last class of our college, now university.
Yeah, give him more than the microphone.
Now University of Samuel Merritt University, to have the MPT class, which I was actually grateful for because there was only 13 of us.
Oh, God, that's crazy. Everybody's waiting for the doctorate.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why we can't technically, but we're still calling him Doc because he earned it.
Whatever.
So
just can't sign off on papers.
Yeah. Doctor's signature you can't read anyway. It doesn't really matter. So Dr. Nandi came from us. He's joined us a few months back. He's a great PT. Fits in this place wonderfully. But we want to do an introduction like we did with the rest of us a few months back, I think now. So we're going to do a little Q&A with you.
Awesome.
You can be as honest as you want to be. You can lie through your teeth.
Sweet.
We prefer truth.
Love it.
Justice in the American way.
Yep.
So I'm sticking to it. All right. So Dr. Westbrook is our resident Q&A guy. So he's going to start us off.
All right. So we're going to start off. We're going to keep it light. What is your favorite way to stay active?
Oh, lately it's hiking.
Whereabouts?
Mostly either Whiting Ranch or
Where's Whiting
San
Ranch?
Diego Oaks. So Whiting Ranch is up in near Rancho Santa Margarita at the top of Alton.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And
familiar.
then San Diego Oaks is right next to Irvine Park.
Oh, nice. It's nice up there.
And then just recently I went out to it's near Irvine Lake. What's the name of that place? The falls.
It's not Peters Canyon.
No. It's way past that. It's off of San Diego Canyon Road. I can't think of it right now, but it's a hike where you hike up to the waterfalls. There was no water, so there was no waterfall, but it was a good hike.
Just the remnants
but I would say my preferred outlet would probably be mountain biking.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Same places you mountain bike? Or
yeah, same places
cool.
mostly.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long have you been mountain biking for?
Probably about 30 years. 1995.
Wow, they didn't even have gears back then, did they?
Oh, it's been advanced.
Fixed gear mountain biking.
Yeah, I moving to Southern California, I was a little spoiled because I'm from the Bay Area, and so I grew up with my best friend mountain biking in
Go Niners.
The hills behind Stanford, so like near the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Those are nasty out there.
As well as the birthplace of mountain biking, Mount Tamalpais. So.
Ooh, that might be some fighting words right there.
Birthplace of it?
Yeah,
He didn't mean that literally. That's what he thinks. Don't get angry.
All right.
Yeah, but
Steve Fisher has a lot to say about that.
Any gnarly falls?
Yes, actually, one of my worst falls actually was on Mount Tam. The one time we rode, we wanted to find the Hukuiku Trail, which my original mountain bike was named after. Oh. And as we were coming down the hill, I'm coming around a bend, and it's always the dichotomy of do I take the jump or do I not? And there was a little lip on the side of the mountain, and so I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do it." No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. Excuse my language.
We got editing buttons.
And as I came down, my front tire washed out, and I braced myself on my elbow, rock in my elbow. Adjusted my neck really nice, and then rolled over onto my back. Thankfully, I had my helmet and my backpack on, and It was the first time I'd ever seen mountain bikes spinning around my head.
Oh,
so you know the
Jesus.
cartoons where you see the birds run?
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I felt, man. And my friend rides up behind me. He's like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I sat up and I was like, "No." And I laid back down for a minute, and I could not close. We got back to my friend's house, and I could not close the wound here with a Band-Aid, so we had to go to
Stitches.
get stitches.
You know what's funny? Everybody who crashed on a mountain bike, their buddies walk up like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Did you just see what I did?" No, I'm not okay. I just went down half a mountain into a tree.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Yeah,
It's funny. I had one crash mountain biking. I never mountain biked again.
Yeah.
I hit the soft sand, so we're downhilling it.
Oh yeah.
On a turn, I don't know how to see that. I'm just not
Yeah.
used to it. I hit it. The next thing I remember, I'm sitting up. My bike's 20 feet down the mountainside. My glasses were somehow sideways, like impaled on my head somehow. And I'm like, this is the dumbest sport on the planet. I'm never doing this again. I walked down the mountain. I was like, throw my bike. I'm done. Leave the bike. I don't care. And my buddy was like an avid mountain biker. So he was like, no, try it again. I'm like, I'm good, dude. I'm good. It was, It was fun up until then. Because then you have to walk yourself back out.
If you need to, if it happens.
You got down. You had to get up and.
My bike was fine. I just rode my bike down just a little slower than normal. Just
a lot of brake checks.
Yeah, wasn't ripping it.
yeah, not at all. No. Not after that.
That's
for
so
sure.
funny.
Nice. All right. Next question. What is your favorite way to relax? A little contrast question.
Favorite way to relax? That's a good question. Seems that I don't relax much lately. I work a lot. I would have to say either some sort of physical activity or just kind of sitting on the couch and watching TV.
Yeah.
I did not have a TV as a child, so...
What do you watch?
What do you watch?
Whatever.
Brain rot television?
I'm not a bit, there's only certain reality shows I can watch.
Sure.
My wife loves to watch things like Vanderpump Rules and stuff like
God.
that.
Of course, yeah.
And
staple.
I cannot, I just can't, I can't.
I made it through one episode. Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I'll be honest. Like, I'm not going to ask to watch it, but if it's on, I'm like... I'm definitely.
It's a little bit of a train wreck.
watch it.
I would agree. It's a little bit of a train
sucks you
wreck.
in.
I will say their first season wasn't bad though, when it was like more natural, and then it just got contrived from there and kind of loses.
Yeah, it gets really
Fun.
scripted. I watch a lot of sports.
What sports?
Yeah. Favorite teams? Go.
No, I grew up in the 80s when the
likes
Niners
that.
were
Lions.
not good, and then they were really good.
Really good.
So I actually grew up in the era of Air Coryell and became a steadfast Chargers fan from Dan Fouts on. And to this day, I love the Chargers.
Nice.
Feel fortunate that
almost caught that clip.
Yeah, right, exactly right.
We're clipping it in the heart, dude. It's just there.
My wife is a huge Niners fan because, again,
Smart
we
woman.
grew up in the Bay Area, and so it was the Niners got good that year, probably or two after I became a football fan.
Yeah, a couple years.
Because Ray Wersching was horrible for the
team,
longest
the
time.
team was awful.
Yeah, they were. It was.
And then boom.
yeah.
It's been
Bill
happiness ever
Walsh, right?
since.
I mean, it's a clear example of how coaching really makes a difference.
Oh, it's massive.
Lifelong San Francisco Giants fan. I would say Willie McCovey was probably, next to Will Clark, my favorite player of all time.
Thoughts on Barry Bonds? Are you a fan?
You still have to
that's
hit
pretty
the
good.
ball. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
I'm a Dodgers
absolutely.
fan, but still,
You know what I say?
Barry Bonds is great.
If one's going to do it, let them all do it.
Well, he was the only one who got caught.
No, well,
Him,
technically.
A-Rod, Roger Clemens.
And who was the one who said, I refuse to answer because it would incriminate me?
Wasn't that pitcher?
was that Roger Clemens?
I think it's Clemens.
It was Clemens, it was
Clemens.
McGuire, and it was
Sosa.
Sosa may have said that, but then who's the first baseman? God, what was his name?
McGuire?
No, he played for. I want to say he played for the Mets, but I can't remember.
Oh.
No. He played for the Texas team. What's the Texas team?
A-Rod.
Texas.
A-Rod?
No, the first baseman who played for. I can't make his name right
Because
now.
A-Rod was third at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Very
again,
short.
Bonds was the only one who got caught.
Yeah.
So
And I will say, I mean, as much as you can knock this or knock that, hitting a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, or today 100, whatever, that is not an easy task.
No. I mean, you
don't
still
care.
have to hit the ball.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether it makes you stronger, which it does, it makes you recover faster, of course, but you still got to hit the ball. So
That's still a skill.
100%.
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Moving on.
Love balls.
Basketball.
Celtics.
What?
Coast to coast.
Whoa.
So you just randomly pick
That's-
teams.
I pretty much did. Again, when I was when I was 10 years old.
No loyalty
When I-
whatsoever.
No. When I was 10, the Warriors were horrible.
They've been horrible.
Right.
People ask how I was a Warriors fan. I said, because they're my team, Golden State, right? But I haven't been able to root for them for my whole life.
For the most
So
part.
that
yeah.
one little window we got before somebody left the team they shouldn't have, and now he regrets it.
Well, they traded everybody away. I mean, what they traded Chris,
They
not Chris,
drafted-
but they
Well, they couldn't
yeah,
afford him, right?
DMC.
they chose not to afford them.
Fair enough.
Fair way to put it. Yeah.
Right, so they traded Mitch Richmond away. They traded who's the kid from Michigan, Chris
Hardaway?
No, but
Oh,
they traded Hardaway away
Hardaway's
as well.
gone too.
The
Chris.
Fab Five. What was his name? Chris. I can't think of it.
Weber.
I can't think of it.
Yeah, Chris Webber.
Thank
They
you.
traded Webber away.
They draft him, teach him, coach him up,
Yeah,
kick him out.
And I was like, "You
Perfect.
got to be kidding me!"
Yeah. It was a very long.
So I was
long,
watching
long-
basketball one day at the age of 10, and the Celtics were playing. I think it was the Lakers, but I couldn't be.
That's all my fondest memories are is Celtic Laker games.
I
Those
couldn't,
games
I couldn't
were,
be sure.
Yeah.
They were in the Boston Garden, and there was this really good white guy, and I was like, "Okay, I'll like him. Yeah, that's fine."
Oh, he was an
Relatable.
animal too.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was? It's not possible, obviously, but to take a couple of those players and drop them into today's game
Oh yeah.
and make today's players play by their rules back then.
Oh no,
And
half
just-
the league would be on the injured reserve.
Yeah.
They would be
whatever
having
it
what
is
do they
for
call
that
the
year.
load management games?
Yeah.
Like 20 games in a row.
Oh yeah.
I need to take the month of February off
Yeah.
because I'm sore.
Yeah.
I was like,
Lame beer with a
oh
cross
my
check. Yeah.
God, that guy.
Yep.
I didn't like it. I mean, it took sometimes it crossed. It took the sport out of it a little bit.
Sure.
But
Yeah. They let him play.
it was some.
They
Oh
let
my
him
God.
play.
And
Isaiah
he
Thomas.
can still shoot.
Yeah.
So he's going to be good in this
Well,
league, too.
if you ever see any of the documentaries, like they did a good one on him and Magic, and Magic would say, yeah, Bird came down and told the bench, "I'm going to get the ball the next time, and I'm going to shoot a three, and we're going to win the game." And he did
I
exactly
remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I watched this too. You're like, and nobody denies it.
No.
Like nobody says no, he never said that. They're like,
Yeah.
no,
Oh, he
that's
said
what he did. Yeah, he did that often. That wasn't like a one-time off thing. It was like pretty much every game he's talking some trash to somebody. He's gonna shoot with his eyes closed. He'd stare at the player and shoot and make it. And you're like, my God, you're good. Anyway, tangent. Go for it. What do we got next?
All right, so more of a fun question,
That was pretty fun.
and I think there's kind of two parts to this.
Okay.
So if you could own any animal, what would it be and why?
If I could own an animal?
Yeah, as a pet.
And PETA's not calling us. You're fine.
Yeah. No. They'll never see this.
Yeah, there's no exotic animals I guess I would ever want to own.
That's not fun.
I
know.
know. It's not,
No
but
safety
I mean,
requirements,
I know.
no-
I know.
Any
yeah.
environment you can think of.
God, I don't know. I mean, because we have a dog now, and that dogs are cool. I grew up with cats. I would own a cat in a heartbeat, so it would probably have to be some sort of wild cat.
A
maybe?
wildcat?
Yes.
Lion, panther.
I don't know.
Are you familiar with the Mancoon? That's the question I have
It's
to bring up.
the Maine Coon.
There you go. Mancoon was, yeah.
You ever seen a Maine Coon?
No.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. We can pull them up, but look them up sometime.
Okay.
I'll try
They're.
plugging it here. if
I know.
can.
We should stick one in there. It is massive. Like if you hug, it's like hugging a 4-year-old child.
Whoa.
It's huge.
Okay.
And very sweet, very nice cat. But yeah, you're like, that's a
Not
cat.
possible.
Like, yeah. My wife was in love with these things. She's like, next when our kitty cats pass because they're in their 20s.
Sure.
She's like, can we get a Maine Coon cat? And because I don't know why, my first thought was, how do you have a litter box for a cat? Or does it go outside like a?
Sandbox.
They have I mean, I don't know.
I
Yeah,
need I need a little shovel machine. What do you
Yeah.
call the little tractors?
The excavator? No.
Like a tractor
Yeah,
to go
just a tractor.
clean the litter out. I'm like, no, that's what I thought. Anyway, but yeah, so exotic animal. Oh, I'm sorry. Question you got?
Yeah, and I guess the second part, if you could be any animal.
Oh,
If I could be any animal?
Yeah, mythical or real.
ooh,
What would you be?
I've never thought about a mythical creature.
was that a dragon?
Yeah, because I think we all
said
went
griffin.
mythical.
You
I
guys
said a
said
griffin.
Yeah.
I said dragon. I think.
Yeah, it might have to be some sort of flying animal because I've always thought that it would be really cool to be a hummingbird.
Oh, okay. 3 heartbeats.
You know, just to be able to.
Who
knows that?
I know.
What do you mean?
I didn't know that. I didn't
Really?
Who knows that?
just to be
Yeah, I'm
able
pretty sure they
to
have
just to
free
be able to
parts.
fly the way they fly and to respond the
That's
way
pretty
they
amazing,
respond.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if you drink enough caffeine, you'll just get the same effect.
Pretty much, you'll feel like you have 3 heartbeats.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is my heart beating? That's what happened when I drank espresso for the first time.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
espresso special. It's crazy.
Speaking of which, another can. All right.
Yeah, right. All right. So, if you could describe yourself as any genre of music, what genre of music are you?
That is a great question.
I would have to say
Did he ask this last time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did, huh? Okay, yeah. It's a great
Oh, yeah,
question.
you did.
I would have to say it would be kind of a mix of trip hop and classic rock.
Ooh,
Trip hop. Can
Wow.
we get an example of trip hop? Because I'm not familiar.
It would be kind of a cross between like it's like I would say it's kind of like a house version of or a psychedelic version of maybe like
So it's got like a trancey beat, but there's also more like a
Like-
there-
like a
but there's words
like a
over
like
it.
yeah
Okay,
like
I like that.
like because I
More upbeat.
I grew up with
No, I'm gonna have to mute this part.
Boom, copyright.
I'm gonna have to mute this part. I just thought about my job. Guys. I have to put this together.
I grew up listening to classic rock, and had no idea what rap music was. And then when I moved to San Francisco when I was 16, I was introduced to rap music, very old school. Some Run DMC, but I'm very much into lyrics, and so I like listening to the lyrics. Heavy D and the Boys was one of my favorite rappers, and then Kumo D, and
Go to work like a doctor. Claim to fame,
Yep.
same now. Fuck shit.
yeah,
Now copyright. I'm just singing a song in my head.
That one's okay.
or I go to work. Yeah, and just kind of that old school vibe. I don't. So that's kind of what had influenced me with that, and then. I love to dance, and so dancing in that kind of house vibe and that house music
Just
kind
vibing.
of yeah.
Yeah, best
Yeah.
stuff. That's me.
Yeah. Very chill vibe.
House trance,
basically.
yeah.
Pretty much,
That,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I gather that for sure.
That makes sense. I remember one of the first days that you came into the office when you actually had control of some of the music because we weren't in and I was coming in a little bit later. You were playing, I think it was like a workout playlist, but Run DMC was bumping and you were bumping your head with it. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great. I was like, I'm allowed to play this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when nobody's here, you know, that's like this morning I changed the music to the Post Malone station.
Yep.
That's not a bad one.
It's
that's a good
not,
one.
but it can get a little explicit, and then
Yeah.
it locked me out, and I was like, oh, I can't change the channel. So I just turned the music
Sorry, guys.
down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So-
It's not like they're words they've never heard before. It's in
No, I
music, It's
know.
expression. You'll be fine. It's not like it's a 2 Live Crew or something like that.
Very true. Very
You're
true.
safe.
Very
Justin,
Yeah.
do you even know who that is?
Who?
Two Life Crew.
No.
Okay. That's a good one to search. Yeah, that's a good one to search.
That one would be just preferably inside your house at first,
Yeah.
just to make sure how
Yeah.
comfortable you are with the
I
lyrics.
call that headphone music.
Yes, that's good headphone music. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'll have to check them out.
Check back in next week. Like, what is wrong with you guys?
All right. When did you know you wanted to be a physical therapist?
When did I know I wanted to be a physical therapist? I think I grew up playing baseball, football. I ran track, threw javelin. When I had injured my knee randomly, not in a sport, but at the time I was playing football, and the team doctor was able to. My knee swelled up to the size of my quad, and so he was able to drain my knee, gave me some naproxen, and that was really cool. And as I'm kind of rehabbing myself, I thought, that'd be kind of cool to be able to teach people how to exercise. Mm-hmm. I always exercised. I was, by that time I'd kind of experienced a lot of weightlifting and exercise, and thought, yeah, it'd be neat. And then when after my first 100 hours in massage school, I saw that there was a sports massage class and a deep tissue class, and so I wanted to take those. And after taking those, thought, it would be really cool to be able to like do massage on athletes or professional athletes. And at the time, I was living in Palm Springs, and the College of the Desert would hold some of the like competitions of the what was it, the Olympics of the Stars or something like that, where they would have like sprints and stuff like that. Herschel Walker would come. And,
that kind of stuff would be fun.
Right. And I always thought, that'd be really cool. And then for some reason, because we now have massage therapists who work on professional athletes.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought, I'm going to have to have a degree because nobody's going to take me seriously as a massage therapist who just wants it. So I was like, I guess I have to go to PT school. And so that I would
far
say,
different than it is today.
it's so, way different.
You have to plan way ahead.
So that kind of led me to why it did Eisenhower Hospital. And I almost decided not to be a physical therapist because all I did was observe a PT work on someone on people who obviously in Palm Springs are over the age of 75. She was doing suboccipital releases with coconut oil, and that was about all she ever did. And I was struggling to keep myself awake. Well, that was all I saw. I didn't go out to the gym and see that kind of stuff. And so I was like, wow, really, is this what I want to do? Mm-hmm. And of course, like how many outpatient orthopedic clinics are there in Palm Springs? There's probably a ton, but I didn't even think about it to go to those. So I would say once that I realized I could translate my massage skills into physical therapy or getting a job that way, I think that was kind of when I decided. And then I realized that I liked the process that we learned in massage school. We studied the theory in the morning, and then we applied the practical by working on the patient or working on the client and learning the massage technique in the afternoon. And I was like, well, that's totally physical therapy school, which for the most part it is, doing things like that. So I would say it was probably, I was 22? Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And here you are 30 years later?
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You blink and you're there?
Yeah.
You guys will find out.
Don't blink.
Yeah. Don't blink. Just stay right where you are.
Sweet. All right. So what was your welcome to the bigs moment?
My welcome to the bigs. That was probably, I would say that's a two-part question.
Sure.
Because there's a big league component to that question. The first was, I would have to say, I was volunteering at a clinic when in college, and it was a NovaCare clinic. So if you're familiar with it, NovaCare is a corporate conglomerate physical therapy rehab, or like Benchmark or Physiotherapy Associates.
Would you call it like a Globo PT?
Yeah, I would. Maybe it's more national, I would say. They used to be out here. They're more Midwest and East Coast, I think.
But more like a Globo gym, like very 24-hour fitness like.
No. It's straight rehab.
Okay.
Yeah, NovaCare. Sometimes you'll see them on outfield fences in major league parks.
Okay.
More so in the Midwest, but again, they were like Benchmark, Physiotherapy Associates, so kind of a corporate. And they saw a lot of workers' comp, and we had a patient come in whose legs got crushed.
Oof. And
he had a really hard time moving his legs. And then we had another patient who I think got hit by a bus. I don't know. San Francisco, I did not realize how many people get hit by buses. It's
fair
a lot.
enough. Yeah.
You got to pay attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it was just their struggle with their determination and their struggle of them getting better. I was like, well, they're not quitting. Why should I? So that was, I think, the first time when I thought, okay, that's something that I feel like I really want to do, because it was hard to see somebody struggle like that, thinking that I don't think they're ever getting better. Right.
Yeah.
Those
extremes are hard.
The injuries, the crush injuries, the type of recovery that nerves need, they're not recovering that way. So I would say that was kind of the first inkling, and then when I felt like I actually belonged, I mean, I think it was I had a chance to work with a professional baseball player, and he had a bone spur removed on his heel. They reattached, they severed the Achilles, took off the bone spur, and reattached it.
A lot of drama.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of drama.
And again, this is a Major League Baseball player.
Oh, that's a lot.
How
of
long ago?
6 years ago, 7 years ago.
They're still
Oh, okay.
that
So
recently.
very
That's
But
shocking.
his surgery was probably 9 years ago.
That's
Okay.
still.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the process of doing that. And he spent about 2 years rehabbing with his team.
Dang.
I'm like, what the hell are they doing with you? And he came and finally found us because of the Alter G, because he could run on something like that.
Just a real quick, All G for everybody out there. It's a treadmill that has a big thing that harnesses you in, so it can take your body weight off the treadmill, and you can actually program it
Right.
to what percentage of your body weight
Yeah.
you want to run with, so you can load the tissue slowly instead of just pounding it. Amazing machines.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get one in here.
They
Oh.
get in the special
So nice.
shorts. You zip yourself in the canopy, and then the canopy fills up with air. And again, like
You just float.
Doc T said, it's yeah, you
So
can
great.
get up to 20% of your body weight. So
Yes,
it's
which is
pretty
great
cool.
for the tissue to
Yeah.
just get stronger.
And so we got him better in, I don't know, 6 weeks, 10 weeks.
Nice.
He was doing all the lateral movement he could do and tolerate, and we had a little bit of an outer body experience when he was doing some cutting around some cones, and his foot slipped out of his shoe.
That is the worst feeling.
And he kind of looked at me and he goes, "Oh yeah, that kind of reminded me of everything else." So I was like, "Wow, I was glad your foot came out of the shoe." But yeah, I would say that having that experience of being able to work with a professional athlete and them kind of saying, and when we would go watch him play, the first time I introduced, maybe first or second time I introduced my son to him, who was a baseball player as well. He was like, "Yeah, your dad got me better. You should listen to him. He knows what he's talking about."
So he had
Good
two years of pain post surgery,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
And it
took
was
about 6
it was like pain or just dysfunction. They just I don't know what they were doing. So
Yeah,
We don't have any records
we get a lot of that.
of that, especially if it's like 2 years. You're talking about severing the Achilles tendon, doing a bone spur removal, and then reattaching it. So there's trauma on top of trauma.
It's almost
Yeah.
like 3 surgeries in one. That's just crazy. Yeah, I'm surprised it's still 9 years. That seems like 20-year ago surgery.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
instead of there's ways to address things otherwise as opposed to doing that, which is
I think at the time that it was like the quickest.
That's the
they
problem.
thought it was the quickest
Yeah.
turnaround.
yeah. But
When it ended up not being.
there's no Achilles that's ever been a quick turnaround.
No.
It just doesn't exist, man. That
Aaron
sucker.
Rodgers.
You know what's funny? If you consider his position, that helps because people say, well, he's pushing up, pushing up. Like, that kid's arm strength is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need that full strength of his ankle joint like some quarterbacks might need.
Right.
No comments to quarterbacks, but there's some that just need the full fluency. I watched him live. And we were at Carson when they came out, and he was with the Packers still. Yeah, Packers still.
Packers at the time.
He was falling backwards on his heel on one leg and chucked the ball 45, 50 yards down the field.
Wow.
And I was watching him, and the ball took off, and I'm like, how did you do that? Like, I can throw a football 40 yards pretty good. He's falling backwards, and
Yeah.
he just flicks it like it's
Yeah.
nothing, and down the field. I think God was incomplete, but I was like, he's the exception to the rule. Yeah, he's that guy who I like, oh, there's no way. Come on.
He's also not a mobile quarterback, so
he's not known for it now.
he should be okay.
Yeah, he is. Man. Anyway, so all right,
All right.
what do we got? Q&A.
Last question, unless you guys have any questions.
Oh, I have like 20.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so my last question: what did you want to be when you grew up? Obviously.
Before being a physical therapist, two things. I originally, my mother was a nurse, and so healthcare was always kind of part of our family.
David?
Same here.
And so I actually, she would always say, "Oh, you can be anything you want. You just gotta, if you want to do it, you can do it."
Your mom was much nicer than mine.
Yeah, we all have different versions of that story.
Exactly. Right. So originally, I wanted to be a brain surgeon.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And then at one point, I
SARS.
wanted to. What's that?
I said shoot for the stars.
Yeah,
and
no,
you
no,
might
no.
end up on the moon.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
going to end up somewhere good if that's where your endpoint is. Yeah.
And then that was almost just a fleeting thought. And then at one point I wanted to be an architect because I really liked drafting and drawing and stuff like that. And then that kind of all gave way when the 2 years I was in junior college out of high school, I basically did nothing. And
Good years.
yeah,
I did the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
so
majored in absolutely nothing.
yeah, all my drafting and all my art classes were just a hassle more than learning.
It got inconvenient, yeah.
And then when I went back to school, or in that process of going back to school, I met an architect and shadowed her at her office, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this.
We had almost
That's good.
identical stories, except mine was lawyer.
Oh wow.
I was going to law school and I same thing. I shadowed and I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
No. It's funny how that works. It's good that you did it though. Like one of my things I do with the interns in here is I really push them to experience different clinics. Like they're already in Cairo school, so they're going to go. So they're committed. They're in 8th term, so they're definitely committed. So I go, yeah, we're sports-based, performance-based. That's great. Go find a straight, go find this, go find that, and just go hang out because working with our clientele can be frustrating sometimes. Compliance is always an issue.
Sure.
And I say fail it out, but you have to go experience it. I could tell you all day long, and we could do this as a podcast, what we do. But until you see what it's like day to day with working with those type of athletes or people, just make sure. Yeah, it's the smartest thing you can do. Mm-hmm. I think we don't do that today with kids. I'm like 18, 19, you got out of high school. Man, you don't know a thing.
Yeah.
Go. If you think you want to go do this, go check it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you find out quickly, like, never mind. It's not what it was. Just I don't know how your experience was. I just thought it was like law and the speed very. He was in his office for like 19 hours straight,
yeah.
and I was like, "This, I'm gonna fall asleep."
Yeah.
So not for me. I gotta move.
exactly.
I mean, you guys know me. I don't sit still well.
No, and even doing this, I'm surprised we get him to sit for an hour and talk.
I'm listening. Yeah, I'm learning right now. Yeah, but yeah, it's funny. It's a very good experience, I think, to have that the kids today don't get that chance like you and I had. How long was PT school?
For me, it was about 2.5 years.
And now it's 3?
Now it's 3.
Yeah,
theoretically.
to add it on there. Got to add that D.
I guess.
6 months and that money for the D.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, nice. Good timing.
I thought we've earned that at least a couple times before. That's good. That's good. And
I'm
so
gonna have to cut that out.
no, keep that sucker in there. That's what I love. That I love that. Boom, boom. What was I going to say? So in PT in your world, were there the specialties they have now, like orthopedic and all these other kind of like deviations? Did you do any of those? Mm-mm. You just kind of went forward and got your experience in.
I did, but then I also a clinic that I worked with was hugely Pilates based.
Oh, interesting.
And so part of their employment was having me go through a Pilates certification.
Oh, that's
and I went through the whole
bonus.
certification, but I didn't pass the end final test.
Uh-oh.
So, well, it's, you still have the knowledge. I have a
100%.
I have a classmate who walked across the stage and then they told him he doesn't get his diploma because he didn't pass 2 of his clinical internships. Ooh. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'd like to wonder why.
Yeah. Well, one of them was, I think he didn't pass a class and then he didn't pass an internship. And so
was it like credits or anything like that, or like
that's the format of our program was if you don't pass 2 classes, you're out of the program.
That's crazy. So he walked across and then he was like, yeah, never mind.
Yep.
Wow, that's brutal.
And that was very hard for me to swallow. It was as much as I wanted to protest and like say whatever, it's not for me to sabotage my future.
Right.
Yeah.
But it did not leave a good taste in my mouth for my program at all.
Schools have a tendency of doing that.
Yeah, it was really a bummer because he's and not to say that his life is any worse off because it's not.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of it's sad for him. I always felt sad for him and just disappointed in my program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny when you go through it and you've been through it. Like ours was 3.5 years, and you see some of the stuff that goes down. And you're like, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
But again, we're not running a school, so it's hard to know the details. I think that's harsh, but
yeah. No, I mean it's we signed on for that, so
Yeah.
I mean I had to retake one class too, so it's. I just think that they could have
mediated that.
They could have done something for him. They could have
pulled him aside,
sent him to another. Well, and in his defense, we talked a lot during his final internship, and he was like, "Yeah, my CI keeps telling me he wants me to be like him."
Okay.
And I'm not treating like him, so he's not treating me
Fairly.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically. And I'm like, well, that's not the point.
Yeah, it's not fair.
I feel, the one thing I tell the interns too, because sometimes you guys don't know, sometimes you do, but some professions eat their young.
Yeah, it's weird.
And people out there, you wouldn't know this, why would you? But we do, only because we live it. But I went out and I saw a few places. I had one guy come in, he's like, I want to pay you $2,500 a month. I was like, okay. You're going to work 60 hours a week. It's like, okay. And he's like, you're going to do a ton of screenings at malls. No, I'm not building your business for you. No, no. You're kind of learn. But they're just things like that. I was like, I was blown away.
Yeah.
I was blown away. So, but it's a good learning experience. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like I said, they kind of, I don't feel like they bent over backwards for me, but I was able to take one-on-one with my anatomy professor during the summer to make up my class. They could have sent him somewhere else, and
100%.
he could have made up the internship. Yeah. And it would have been fun.
So like the whole program was basically a wash for him. He couldn't like transfer the credits. Or God,
That's rough.
yeah.
he
Having
was
been
done.
through it,
He walked across the stage.
And,
like
and that's the thing. Like you walked.
yeah, exactly.
Your family
That was the
was
thing
there,
that got
took
me.
pictures.
Was like, dude, seriously.
Yes.
contrast from our school.
No,
We don't need to dive into that.
We're going to do that. That's another podcast.
That's
That
there we
we
go.
do with introducing Nandi. So, all right. Well, anybody else got anything else?
No, I mean I just love having Nandi in the office.
thank
It's
you.
fun.
Yeah.
I ask him a bunch
Nandi's a
of questions.
vibe,
I've
for
stolen
sure.
so many exercises from this guy. It's kind of funny. I saw one he was doing like a deadlift variation with like a payload press. I was like, that's so smart.
What? I'm gonna have to see that.
Oh, it's yeah.
I want to go back and kind of not necessarily amend a question or an answer,
But I'm going to amend a question.
but I'm going to add to it. I would
Sure.
say.
Yeah.
So I'll
do.
amend it.
The other, I would say, answer adding to the answer of when did I feel like I arrived in physical therapy would have to be when sorry.
You're like,
I gotta reel it in.
Dramatic effect.
There is a little bit. Alvin was my student.
Right.
And
Padawan
so,
learner.
and so,
And before we go on, because we've never mentioned Alvin before. Alvin's one of the PTs
Alvin
in this
doesn't
office.
want to do this.
Yeah,
we're
he
going to
doesn't.
make him. We're going to drag him in here.
we'll
Duct
all
tape him
get
to
in
a
here
chair,
with him. Yeah.
Tuck him to the wall. I don't care. And
Dr. Alvin Yu came from UCSF with a degree in exercise.
Don't tell too much.
In exercise physiology.
Don't tell too much because you have to introduce him yet. So.
But
Give
he was
away here.
my student by freak happenstance. His CI had to pull out of their rotation, and so we have another CI in our office who does a ton of UCSF students, and they said, "Hey, can you take on another one?" And I was like, "Fine, yeah." And so Alvin and his classmate were there for the time, and it was a pleasure working with him. It's nice. It's kind of nice working with colleagues who are a little bit older in school because they've had some experience in life.
That's a big one.
And so that was nice. And then he developed and went back to school. That was his first year. And then he developed, went back to school, and then graduated. And then he came to work with me at our clinic and worked there for a couple of years until he kind of hooked up with Travis and Dr. Goswami. And then we had always kind of joked about, because I've been at my clinic, at the clinic where I work now for 11 years.
I was going to ask you. Yeah, you've been there a while.
Yeah. And so some of us who work there have always kind of joked, well, when are you gonna be the first one to go work with Alvin?
Take the leap.
So when he told me that he was kind of branching off and forming SHARC, that was kind of had the idea in mind of, okay, so let's kind of see where that goes and how that develops. And we would periodically have coffee. And every time we would have coffee, I'd wait for him to say, okay, so when are you ready to come over? And it never did until I would say probably one of the last times we actually had it, he started talking about, okay, this is what we're doing. We've been here for a while. It's working out really well.
Which is good to hear.
Just let me know.
That's good to hear.
Just let me know when you're ready to kind of.
He keeps throwing out the line. And
Yeah.
nothing comes back.
And
Throw out the line.
And I would never really bring anything up just because I didn't want to like force it. And so as he started to, and then he sent out a text to my coworker and I, our friend, and he said, "Hey, do you know any PTs who are looking to pick up some extra hours because I need somebody to
Come help. Yeah.
pick up the overflow?" And we were like, "No," because it was a group chat, and I was like, "No, we'll keep an eye on it and we'll let you know." And then I texted him right after that, and I was like, "Hey, really? Do you really need somebody? Because I'll come over and work." And so that was kind of the beginning of it, of bringing me to SHARC. But for me as a PT, you know, he introduces people. He introduces me to people as his mentor, but to me now, he's my mentor.
Different
That's
ways,
awesome.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
The beauty of what we do here and why we are doing this is to have that PT chiro relationship. We have massage therapists here. It's purely because we can all work together.
Yeah.
And while you have 30 years of experience, I have 22 years experience. Alvin's got 8. You guys have 2 and 3. You put us all together. He's seen stuff you've never seen. I've seen stuff he's never seen, vice versa. So that collective is the most fun I think I've had as a doctor in my career.
Right.
Like the last 3 years for us, like getting you over a little bit here and there and just kind of watching everything evolve. I love where we are. So I was very happy that you came over and joined. You fit the personality group great.
Well, I appreciate it.
Which is fantastic. It's really one of the best things a mentor of mine ever told me was, you can always teach somebody to do things, but you can't make them the person that fits with you. You know what I mean? That personality trait.
Right.
When you guys fit and you work well together and you walk in, you look forward to coming in.
Yeah.
Like when I show up, I'm like, is anybody here yet? Of course, I'm here at 5 a.m, so nobody's here yet. But there are days that I come in, the baker's hours. But there's days I come in, like I get out of the car and I'm like, I can't wait to see what's going on. And we've had a few days here where I walk in and this place is humming all directions.
Yeah.
And puts a smile on my face for one pure reason. All these people that come in to get worked on by us individually are coming to a place that I believe is as well-rounded a treatment plan of care, whatever you want to call it, program of taking care of them and helping them get where they need to go. And not necessarily just like why I brought one PT cut, like join the clinic. I would send people off to PT clinics and never see them again.
Right.
And that drove me bananas.
Yeah.
Not because I lost the patient. It was more like, I don't know what they're doing. So to your baseball players, like they come back 2 years later, I'm like, where have you been? What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, I did this, and this. And I'm like, in my head, I don't want to be rude or disrespectful, but that's way too long, way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so finding Alvin was like a dream come true. You're being the other one. It's funny. He said you mentored him. And I was like, wow, explains a lot. Like, things are starting to come clear. So it's been great having you here. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the lead.
Of course.
Honestly, I know it's a big one.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
it's not an
But
easy
it's I'm learning a lot about myself and about my fortitude, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word.
Grit.
My willingness to believe in myself.
Good. That's we all go through it. Yeah, this is not a singular thing. We all go through it. So it's been a fun process. So thank you for taking the time out today. I know you're busy. I know your family's at home waiting for you. It's been a week.
We get to work out first, and then we get to go. I
love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wish, my kids hate when dad workout time. They're like, oh, dad, burpees? Yes, burpees. Why does it always have to burpees? Because I love burpees.
Well, I hate burpees. That's great. I love it. Yeah.
Burpees and box jumps. Let's
Yeah.
go.
This is the type
Maybe
of treatment you get.
Yeah, do them together.
Nice.
Is there any other way? Is there any other way?
I don't think I could do it by myself. I'd have to have other people around me.
You know, burpees are definitely, you're either self-motivated or you're not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, and there's no wrong or right to that. It's just some people love it. I have a patient that did 1,000
Wow.
twice.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
He did it the second one. He was
How long?
2 hours, 6 minutes.
My God.
His next goal is to break 2 hours.
Yeah. That's crazy.
My next goal is not to die. What are
Yeah,
you doing?
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah.
Oh, he's a great guy. I know.
He's
exactly
a great
what
guy,
I'm
yeah.
talking
But he
about,
is not all there sometimes. Yeah, he does it with a buddy. He goes, because if I don't, I'm going to stop. I'm like, well, that's being. But I asked him a funny question, not to sidebars here. I said, okay, so at which point did you contemplate suicide, or I'm quitting, or I'm going to die from doing
Second
this?
one.
And he goes, right around 650, because you got past the 500. That's
Yep.
like your first mental.
But then you got to do it again.
But you're looking at going, yeah, you get 650, 620s, like you have 300 before you're on the backstretch.
Oof. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like climbing a hill.
Yeah.
You're here. You
Yeah.
think you're here, but you're down here still. And it's like, oh my God, that would.
No.
I
Big no for me. Big no.
And it's funny because he asked me why it's bad. I said there's no no athletic benefit. There's no performance benefit. There's no benefit whatsoever.
Yeah.
But he wants to do it. He's going to do it again. He's going to break 2 hours.
Wow.
That's craziness. I don't know how
that's
we got on
amazing.
Burpee Talk. Anyway, but again, Nandi, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah,
We're going to
thank
wrap this
you.
sucker up and get out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody out there for paying attention and listening.
Thanks
If you
for
guys have
having
any
me.
questions, let me know. But you need a mountain bike PT. We got your guy for sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Doc T.
Dr. David.
Dr. J.
And kind of Dr. Nandi.
We'll catch you guys next time. All right. 45 on that.
That was good. Yeah.